everyone, this is Fantasy-esque, and welcome back to Royal Clan in ClanGen, the Warrior Cat's clan generated game. When we left off in the previous episode, things were getting from bad to worse. So, Smokewater, who's been doing really well, moving on from his one-sided affection of King Fernstar, and, Smokewater, who has been wonderfully in love with his mate Flairfreckle. He relapsed in the last episode, guys. He relapsed. And now has a crush on King Fernstar again. I swear, I don't know what it is between the two of them. There's something so charming about the king that Smokewater barely needs any interaction with him, and he's falling all over again. So there was that. And then I made things worse by accidentally misclicking during the matchmaking session, and I selected Sabotage instead of Mediate. So, yeah, Smokewater is now out of love with his mate, which is not what we were trying to do. We were trying to bring his attention back to her. But today we are going to, aside from that, focus on the final moon for our apprentices before they turn into warriors. So these last patrols are going to be very important, and also whoever is the top of their batch this time around very likely are going to become the next prince or princess. So all eyes on that, and then I suppose also on the side, us trying to see how Smokewater is going to do this time around. Can we redeem him? Can we go ahead and fix what I ruined? I don't know, guys. I don't know. Maybe this is a pivotal moment, or maybe that last episode was a pivotal moment in the future of the clan that I unknowingly brought to us. But okay, let's roll the dice and see how King Fernstar is going to handle the next gathering. I have a 6 on the D10, so that's Ice Clan, and a 6 on the D8, which is a praise. And let's go, guys. Let's skip a moon. Okay, no birth and death notices. I don't see how we would have gotten any because the current breeding couple aren't doing too good. During the gathering, King Fernstar is constantly singing Ice Clan's praises. The other leaders don't seem so impressed, but Ice Clan's leader is quite pleased. Ice Clan relations have improved. Fernstar has gotten fleas. Icicle Speck has gotten fleas. Flairfreckle has gotten heat stroke. That's not good. And Firepaw has gotten heat stroke. That is not good. That is not good. Heat stroke can result in death, I'm pretty sure. Oh, guys. Oh, guys. Firepaw could end up falling behind. I mean, this is the last moon. She can't even go out on her last patrol. And Flairfreckle, she can't take Shadepaw out on his last patrol, so she's gonna have to make different arrangements for him. Ooh, this might have been the pivotal change in her not becoming the princess. Something that she has been wanting for so long. I feel like if she didn't get princess, she wouldn't be able to forgive herself. That's a regret she would keep for the rest of her life, given how ambitious she was. Okay, let's go to the Royal Physician's Den. And let's see what's happening here. Scorch Moss gathered elder leaves, plantain, and horsetail this moon. And relationships. Let's check out relationships. Oh, King Fernstar said something really rude to Smokewater. Guys, I feel so bad that Smokewater keeps falling in this ditch that is King Fernstar, because Fernstar treats him like dirt. Think about it. Fernstar has never genuinely reciprocated any of Smokewater's feelings. Smokewater has been eating crumbs that Fernstar leaves, and then Fernstar just dismisses him, doesn't even take his feelings into account, says something really rude to him, probably in relation. I think Fernstar maybe noticed that Smokewater was looking at him differently again, and then he said something about "don't be a puppy over me," which probably, was very offensive to Smokewater. This is rotten. This whole thing is rotten. Okay, King Fernstar divides Shining Stripe into extra patrols. Crowpelt asks Firepaw how she's doing. That's very nice of him, given that she has heat stroke and is not feeling too good. And that Crowpelt got a bunch of cats out for morning stretches. They didn't like it. Crowpelt and Flairfreckle defended their clan at the gathering together. Scorchmoss wants to be closer to Shining Stripe. Shining Stripe says he hopes Scorchmoss has a nice day. Icicle Speck explains what a joke means to Buttercup Finn, the right hand of the king. Icicle Speck gets a bunch of cats out for morning stretches, they don't like it. Flailstorm talks with Palepaw about some clan drama. Flailstorm and Palepaw, so the matchmaker is talking with Palepaw. What was the last negative thing to happen? I mean, I don't really take the stretches into account, that's like too generic. The last thing, Fernstar giving Shining Stripe extra patrols. Okay, and actually that does make sense because Shining Stripe is Palepaw's mentor. So maybe he grumbled about the king to Palepaw, and Palepaw went and is now gossiping with Flailstorm about it. Okay, and then Flailstorm gets a bunch of cats out for morning stretches, they don't like it. Flailstorm asks Flarefreckle about something complicated and regrets it almost immediately when Flarefreckle misses the point. Smokewater and Scorchmouse joke around about how bad the other clans smell. Smokewater is grateful that Shining Stripe has kept a secret of his. Buttercup Fin notices Fernstar doing something generous. I wonder if Smokewater shared with Shining Stripe that he has feelings for King Fernstar again. And maybe this is something that only Fernstar knows, and now Shining Stripe and Smokewater is keeping a secret from the other clan members because they know that he's mated to Flarefreckle, and he also knows that the other clan members, they might be judgy if they know that despite everything, Smokewater is still pining after Fernstar, but Shining Stripe is young enough that maybe he's got a slightly different mentality to these kind of things. Buttercup Fin notices King Fernstar doing something generous. Okay, so Buttercup Fin is admiring Fernstar once more. Buttercup Fin and Bear Pelt keep trying to figure out what a bad smell in camp is. Shining Stripe thinks that Crow Pelt smells nice today. Flarefreckle had a good dream about Smokewater. Okay, there we go. So Flarefreckle, last time the matchmaking didn't go well. It was a very sabotaged matchmaking session. But we kind of said that Smokewater's mind was elsewhere. He was distracted and confused by this connection he was feeling with King Fernstar again. And I think he started questioning his relationship and the genuineness of that with Flarefreckle. But Flarefreckle, she has, I think, on her side been a little bit slow with stepping towards Smokewater and reciprocating his feelings, but she had a good dream about him. So we'll see where that goes, if that's going to encourage her to maybe talk to him a little bit more during matchmaking this time around. So she also got a bunch of cats out for morning stretches, they didn't like it. Bear Pelt and Shadepaw talk about what they see in the clouds. Firepaw and Palepaw accidentally startle one another. These two just, I don't know, I think the personalities are way too different, these two siblings. Shadepaw mews congratulations to Shining Stripe for a job well done. And Palepaw didn't warn King Fernstar about a rock on the ground, which caused Fernstar to trip. I kind of love that Palepaw maybe pulled a prank on the king because the king assigned his mentor to extra patrols and his mentor wasn't happy about it, and Palepaw is maybe feeling a little bit defensive of his mentor or trying to get back at the king in not a dangerous way, but a very, very playful way. He's trying to get back at the king for that. Okay, so that's all we have for events. Let me cut the recording here and we'll continue with the cat list. Okay guys, let's take a look at the cat list. So first up, we have loyalties, and there has been a change. Bear Pelt is now no longer loyal to Fernstar, and this is going to be a bit difficult to understand before you go through relationships, but essentially, Bear Pelt, guys, I think, doesn't like the way that Fernstar is treating his sister, Flarefreckle. And for us to understand more about that, we have to take a look at Fernstar's relationship. So I was very surprised to learn that Fernstar actually hates Flarefreckle. And I was trying to piece together why this is happening. And from what we've been seeing, I think what it comes down to is that Fernstar is getting very irritated with Smokewater's attention and Smokewater following him around when Fernstar thought he made it clear and ended things with him. And instead of, holding it to Smokewater. I mean, he's already been rude to Smokewater. I think Fernstar is blaming Flarefreckle for not being able to keep her mate's attention. It's really unfair of him, but I think that's what he's doing. He's just so frustrated with constantly saying no to Smokewater and Smokewater not understanding, or Smokewater getting like the wrong idea over and over again. So that's, I think, what's happening. And then obviously this problem is further delaying the clan from having any kittens, which Fernstar, we know has been a problem for him from the beginning. He has been quite adamant about this, and nothing's happened from it. And they haven't broken it off with each other either, which if they did break it off with each other, then Fernstar could make another match. But the whole clan is kind of just stuck with these two for now, right? And for various reasons, he's just not happy with it. So that's kind of what's happened here. And Smokewater, I took a look at his relationship with Fernstar as well. He had 2 bars in the last episode for Fernstar. He still has 2 bars. So this is so sad, but even when Fernstar is being rude to him, that doesn't change the way that Smokewater feels. He just can't help it. There's just this attraction he feels, and it doesn't matter what Fernstar says or how he acts towards him. Smokewater can't bring himself to blame Fernstar for any of that, which I hate. That's ridiculous. But that's just where the cats are at. Okay, now let's go ahead, dive into the matchmaking, and this time I'm gonna get it right. So Flarefreckle and Smokewater, let's see how it goes. Mediation. Let's see how it goes, because she did have a good dream about him. So, I don't know. Okay, guys. Maybe they had to go back to go forward. Platonic like, comfort, trust, romance, and respect has increased, dislike has decreased. Okay, even though Smokewater cannot find it in himself to blame the king for the way the king acts. During the matchmaking session, after having a really good dream about Smokewater, maybe dreaming about their future litter and their future kittens, something switched, something flicked a switch in Flarefreckle, and she raced, tumbling over her paws to this matchmaking session to confess to Smokewater some realization she had. And Smokewater, who was feeling a little bit bad about the way he was giving her the cold shoulder the last moon, he was intently listening, and she declared that she was in love with him. She just realized that, but she's in love with him, and she can picture a family with him. And I think just the loving way that she said that, and how adorably she said that when Smokewater once more was facing rudeness and rejection from the king, it's he fell in love with her all over again. He fell in love with her for the second time. I love that. I know we ruined things in the last episode, but guys, I think it was meant to be ruined so that they could have an even cuter matchmaking session this time around, where they both fall in love with each other the first time. Flarefreckle finally has this realization after a dream, and Smokewater falls in love with her for a second time. This is just perfection. I'm so happy right now. Hopefully they will give us some good news soon. But okay, let's go ahead now and see what everyone's doing for the day. Fernstar is questioning his ability to lead. Yeah, I think Fernstar maybe recently has been getting so caught up and wound up with his personal relationships that he is finding himself more and more distracted from the work he needs to do for the clan. And I mean, think about it. There's certain aspects of his life that's tangling with clan duties as well. With Flarefreckle and Smokewater, that's a formal match he made. It wasn't made with any consideration to his personal life for the good of the clan. But he's gotten to the point where he is reacting a certain way to that because of his personal relationship with Smokewater. And I think this is causing him to, question himself and whether or not he can handle the weight and burden of being a king. Buttercup Finn can't sleep because of the bugs and the heat. Scorchmoss is so proud of Palepaw, which is really, really adorable, considering that, Palepaw is her favorite son, and that's so cute. She knows it's his final moon as an apprentice, and you know what? Even though Palepaw has been lagging behind, I don't think she blames him, and she probably knows she's been tough on him, but she wants him to know that she's very proud of him. Flowstorm is wondering what living with two legs must be like. Icicle Speck saw a two-leg petting a Lona. Bearpelt is humming a tune he heard near a two-leg place. Flare Freckle wonders if Crowpelt misses his warrior days. Shining Stripe saw a kitty pet with no fur at all. Oh, I forgot to mention this! I completely forgot to mention this, but guys, the other thing I noticed with relationships, Shining Stripe has developed a crush on Icicle Speck. He's developed a crush on Icicle Speck. I think Shining Stripe, he's the type of cat actually who doesn't have any friendships aside from the one with his mother. So I think when he sees someone like Icicle Speck, who is loved by so many cats and friends with so many cats and just so popular, I think Shining Stripe sees something that he admires, and like he looks at Icicle Speck and like he wants to be in Icicle Speck's circle, you know? So I think maybe that's what it is, this admiration he has for how popular Icicle Speck is, and he kind of wants to be in that, like, not in the limelight, but he wants to be, you know, in Icicle Speck's bubble. It's like how sometimes, you know, as introverted folk, we find ourselves attracted to really charismatic folk because they easily do the things that we find difficult. So I think that's maybe what it is happening here. There we go. Firepaw is finding the buzzing of cicadas annoying. Shadepaw had a very strange dream. Palepaw saw a kitty pet with the fluffiest fur imaginable today. Smokewater is hoping he finds an opportunity to slip back to his nest. Crowpelt is telling scary stories to the younger cats. Scary stories about all the ways their final patrol can go wrong. Crowpelt. Okay, let's go ahead, guys, and check to see how our rankings are going for the youngsters. And Firepaw is still at the top. She has 46 experience, Shadepaw has 39, and Palepaw has 38. Okay, guys, she worked so hard that even though she's got, what was it right now? A heat stroke. She worked so hard she gave herself heat stroke. But even if she can't make it to a final patrol, she's like so far ahead of her siblings, her brothers, that this is not even gonna like affect her getting the title of princess. I don't think the few points they'll get from patrol is gonna be able to bump Shadepaw and Palepaw like up enough to challenge their sister's position. So look at her, what a girl boss, what a girl boss. But okay, that's all we have for the cat list. Let me cut the recording here and we'll continue with patrols. Okay, let's go ahead and resume with our patrols. We currently have 121.8 prey, we'll need 29.5. We'll send out our Royal Physician first off. Let's see what Scorched Moss gets up to. Greenleaf encourages the oak to reach its full potential, wide and towering, and Scorched Moss goes to collect a harvest of its leaves. Proceed. Scorched Moss spots an oak tree valiantly trying to sprout leaves from a half-fallen branch, one of the casualties of last leaf bear, and heads to harvest from that. It's safest to pluck leaves from the ground rather than clambering up into the towering branches. So oak leaves were gathered, and then we are going to have, let's see, a patrol of 6 and a patrol of 1. I think one of the mentors is down. Yes, Flare Freckle is down because of a heat stroke, and one of the apprentices is down because of heat stroke. So let's see what arrangements were made. Okay, it seems as though Shining Stripe is sticking very close to his apprentice Palepaw, and I think the arrangement has been made that King Fernstar is going to oversee Shadepaw's training because his apprentice obviously can't make it, and Shadepaw's mentor can't make it. So we'll see how that goes, and then we have Bearpelt and Icicle Speck on this patrol as well. It is extremely hot out today, and the hunting patrol is having a hard time staying on task. King Fernstar debates turning back home. Proceed. The patrol stops to cool off in the shade of a tree for a heartbeat before continuing on their way. As they do, they notice a half-grown deer fawn tottering about in the distance. It's confused by the heat and underweight, and by working together, the cats manage to bring it down, a huge prize for the clan. A huge amount of prey is brought to camp. So Shadepaw would have loved this as a bloodthirsty cat. He would have loved this. And this would have been very fun for Palepaw as well. This very unique hunt for them to go on. Kind of a celebration of their final moon as like apprentices, them managing to haul in so much food and enjoy themselves. So now we have 198.6. And then Buttercup Finn, the king's right hand, is going to go out on a patrol on her own. Buttercup Finn heads out into the forest alone, wanting to make a quick check on the border. Proceed. Buttercup Finn comes across a Storm Clan apprentice on the wrong side of the border and holding prey. She sees the young cat off with a stern warning and then brings the prey back to Royal Clan camp to report the incident to the king's right hand, who you are. Interesting. Relations with Storm Clan have improved. Okay, so she had a diplomatic patrol out. But guys, that is what we have for this episode. I think this episode was as good as the last episode was bad. Like, last episode was rough. This episode was so much better. But okay guys, with that said and done, I'm gonna leave off here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all next time. Bye bye.